All right, we are live. This is Swivel Council 4. This is impromptu. And I have Dandelion over here and Pietro over here.
I
And we're going to
see.
chat. Oh, is it backwards? Did I do it wrong?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great to like hang out with you guys. And I don't know if you guys have ever chatted before, but I chat with both of you extensively and at length. So I just thought this would be fun. And just to set the stage, because I'm in performance mode for a few seconds here, and we can snap out of it. The things I've been talking about with I'm on this side. The things I've been talking about with Pietro have been like video production, skate culture, um, some like skate technology and stuff like our boots, but I'm thinking we don't really need to talk about gear too much unless we get into it. But then Dan, we just went to Blading Cup together, stayed at Airbnb, got a chance to like chat and skate a lot. So then we're thinking about events. There's like skate culture and like aspects there. You actually sent notes, but I love this Blading Cup supporting the Wizard agenda. Yeah, we also had a great
we hope, but
filming session too. But yeah, so I don't know. I guess I didn't really know what to expect by just surprising both of you on here.
I love it.
But yeah, we're just gonna.
I just want to say to
Killer talk.
quick that I admire how you capture your skating. I think it's really cool. So
Thanks a lot.
some admiration there for sure.
Pietro, do you shoot vertical or do you shoot horizontal always in keyframe?
Horizontal keyframe.
Yes.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
Dan shoots horizontal but does not keyframe. Is that correct?
Yeah, always. I'm always worried about losing quality. And I think I mostly just film at night. So I think that's where like my issue is. Like I would probably keyframe more if I skated during the day, but most of my footage so Pietro, I do like a skate meetup every Thursday called Freak the Floor here in Phoenix. And so it's in the evenings. It's in this like really well lit tunnel, but like it can still be difficult to like film there because both sides, like the exits of the tunnel, are not well lit. So if you end up crossing that threshold, like your tricks may kind of disappear.
Okay, which is kind of cool.
I wear all black mostly.
So you just disappear.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me
Well,
too. It's dress code.
Yeah, the pants are black, then like it just, and the skates are black, then it just gets complicated. But yeah.
Yeah. For me I don't know, to film horizontal is and using keyframe, being also a filmer myself, it's like the chance to then shoot a tele of myself skating, pretty much making also that kind of uh, decisions on how to portray certain moment of the movement. And so I do I do mistakes on purpose somehow, like placing the keyframes, because sometimes maybe the movement is too quick, and I recall myself, if I would be zoomed in that moment, I will lose something, and try to catch up with a different, let's say, motion curve. And so I try to kind of respect the language, and it's kind of playful to do so. And most of the time, what I do actually is to frame first in 4:3 ratio, and do the actual clip that I would do, like filming, and then try to squeeze that into the vertical Instagram format, so
Mm,
it looks like a camcorder footage.
yeah,
Okay.
it looks good. It's tastefully done, honestly. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It's I'm interested in both things. I research a lot also in filming, and I share this research with Manuel from Pop, and we are always um, try to figure out a way to upgrade the way we film, because of course in a beautiful parallel universe, what we would do being together and filming each other and having the budget and time, uh, we would film in Sony VX 1000. That
Hmm.
what we would do.
Yeah, like I actually saw one for sale recently on Facebook Marketplace. They wanted $2,800 with a
Yeah,
fisheye, and I was like, no.
Is that a good? Is that a good price for one? You see, I don't even know. I
I
always just
don't think
buy
so.
yeah,
it.
it's not that expensive. It's not that expensive because the camera itself is kind of still affordable. It's the fisheye that
Yeah,
they don't do it anymore, the MK1,
that's what this was. Yeah.
that that it got to prices that are unbelievable, more than a 4K camera
Oh yeah.
of today. You know, so
Interesting.
Do you see that video
and
of the guy who resurfaces the fisheyes for like 10 grand? You can get like your fisheye, because the skateboard
yeah,
scratches the shit out of it, um, and yeah, like you can buy like new ones for like 10,000 plus, or get a refurbished one for like six. It's just like because
yeah, but
it's the horizontal fisheye kind of look, right? It's not a circular.
it depends. I do believe the one that you are referring to is the how it's called, the extreme. It's the
Mm,
MK2. The MK1 is more round.
okay.
And anyway, like my fisheye get kicked by Manuel every time we go skate. And if I film with my friend Peppino, which goes with a BMX, tires are on it most of the time, because I'm really into a certain way to use the fisheye, and that means I should be in the most uncomfortable position during the trick for both myself and who's skating or riding. So that happens. That happens. But we found a very good option for the phone and a certain workflow, and yeah, that it's really possible to get to a look that you can now really say if it was shot in VX 1000 or not, and but you don't have the pain in the ass of DV
Yeah.
cassette and this stuff, and if something goes wrong, this option is way cheaper to replace. You know.
For sure.
It's crazy too because the phone has, so it's like it's cheaper, but it does like 5,000 more tasks than just a dedicated camera. But the fact that that's cheaper, or I guess that the fisheye attachment is cheaper,
Uh,
is probably the main point. Because the phone is,
both.
it's, pretty durable, right? For the most part.
Depends who you're skating with, but but yeah. No, what if I think about it? Those kind of cameras were like the home version the cheap home version of whatever was the standard at that time. That was 35 millimeters film,
Hmm.
you know, and somehow today the phone has pretty much the same place, you know. What it is different to me, it's the vibe that certain kind of footage kind of resonate back, you know, something like if you shoot Super 8 or something, it's more nostalgic. And if you film 4K in log, you can get to be way more cinematic, maybe, you know, and that kind of, it's a different tone or shade, you know, it's a different quality uh, that affects the impression also that the kind of skating gives, or the story you're telling, or whatever it is, to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That quality
That,
is like it's like eye texture, right? Like it's feeding the eyes a specific texture with like the quality, and like definitely plays into like the whole thing of it. Um, I I was gonna say, like, when I see you, like I see your how you keyframe, it seems to be like with gestures of the movement that are happening, which is like totally um like something I enjoy. I will say, like, it's funny because I'm a jump cut guy. Like I just like it'll just boom and then you're like right there. And I've had some people tell me before, like, oh, I can't do the jump cuts. It's too much for me. And I think like there's it sort of jostles the brain a little bit. It's not as like tender to like what's happening. And like instead of like where in your keyframing you kind of zoom in so the object, the larger your larger form sort of gradually leaves frame. Like a jump cut is like it's just gone, but your focus now is brought to that. And I think in my in my how I like to film, I love that like that jostling of the brain. It just forces you into that perspective. But also like I don't film anything longer than like whatever. And I'm always I don't know, it's different. I don't know why I won't let myself keyframe anything. I don't know why I won't like let it happen. I think maybe I just it and you know what, it's a tool and every tool has its purpose and its time. Um, and maybe like just like you know some people might always use like a little paring knife to cut an apple, and it's like, well, why don't you use a big knife? You know, it's like, oh, it's just what I'm used to. Like it's just like these tools come into and fall into like routine with us. um and I went and like the phone is great. I have a lot of success with the phone when I film. I just I love like I don't forgive me for not knowing it, but like a long shot, right? Like shooting from like I'm gonna shoot from 50 feet away, and I need like clarity,
Yeah.
right? That's the one thing I wish like the phone had, really, is like that sort of that ability, just to get that depth of what's happening.
Or
Um,
to like encourage the focus of the viewer to see what you're seeing from far away. Like I've
yeah,
yeah,
experimented with the camcorder that I have, and you know, I skate by myself a lot of the time, and I lucky to get to skate with other people pretty often as well. But I think that when I have a certain vision of what I want the video to look like I just go skate by myself, and bringing the camcorder and like you said, being able to punch in and have it all analog zoom, like no digital zoom. I mean, I also can do digital zoom, but the ability to notice just a small beam of light and like zoom into it from across the room and just have like it's a I'm enjoying playing with it. Like almost never do I shoot with the camcorder on the tripod full wide, right? It's always looking at some specific, you know, maybe it's a wider shot from further away, but I was out yesterday just feeling super in the creative like flow space and just put the tripod here and skate through. And then I had my light and I was lighting shots at night. I was just like, like I'm a one-man production team. Like I can see the shot, I can set it up. I don't have to hope that the filmer sees the same vision or anything. It's just like, if I didn't get it right, I just move the camera and like bring it closer, bring it further away. But I'm really, really enjoying the ability to zoom in really far on just my skates as I ride by, or, you know, just these, whatever. Point is, it's a different style than what we've talked about. It's neither, I'm not going to keyframe this footage. It's not handheld. It's just like I don't know. I almost feel like it always deserves like raw audio as well when it's static tripod shots from far away. Like, anyway, I'm trying to push myself into like this YouTube space that's like more ambient but still engaging. Yeah, the B-roll, the like going to the spot, you know, not just like ready, set, tricks, like the fire hose of tricks, you know, like but on Instagram you got to post the fire hose because otherwise people move along, you know. It's like,
I think I said this to you like in a voice memo, but like the storytelling, I think because you skate so often, there is just like more opportunity for storytelling. So like there's like short introductions, or like that B-roll is like super, you know, because like I mean I would think, like I think sometimes like, how do you fucking do it? How do you skate every day for like 20 miles a day? You cover like the city, and like to be, you know, and that's me, but to be let into that space, I think is like really, it's like it's a personal like situation, right? You're then allowing a little bit of perspective of like your day to kind of bleed over into it, how you felt, you know. And it's cool because it's in like, right, in I guess in the world of YouTube videos, like whatever is most relatable is gonna probably get more views, but like if it's relatable, it depends on the kind of footage it is. Is it like, you know, some people would say something like that is storytelling would feel like long-winded because like they just want to see tricks. And so, but then it comes down to like what's most fulfilling for you, kind of thing. I enjoy the B-roll.
Yeah, I think a lot of times B-roll in a skate video is frustrating to me to watch, because it doesn't connect with the skating in any way. And I almost get irritated when I see, I mean, I have to assume that the B-roll was from near, like next to the skating, like the skating's about to happen or it just happened, or they were looking at the skater here and they looked over there and that's what the B-roll was. But I think, well, there's a couple things I've noticed. One, like from way back when Instagram didn't really have videos, I learned this thing that I was like, I love taking landscape shots on my bike rides. And anytime there was a person in the shot, not even the focus, just somewhere in there, way more people would like it and engage with it. And like it contextualizes that space. So shooting generic B-roll that doesn't have people in it or skaters, like I'm not sure how much context it offers to the skating. Like I'll see like an intro to a video that's like really well done, or like a skateboard video where it's like a fake horror movie from like Creature, you know, like one of those kind of things. And I'm like, okay. And then now it's skating. Like it's like some guy in his room, like freaking out watching a TV. And now it's HD 4K skateboarding footage, like super digital. We go from like the 16 mil, you know, oh, it's all dreamy. And I get why you wouldn't shoot a whole video in 16 mil, like it's fucking expensive. But like I don't, it's not really jump cut, but it's like this vibe shift where you're like, oh yeah, it's all dreamy. And then hammer, and you're like, what was the point of the B-roll? So I try to like show like the actual experience and not like, I don't know, just generic shit. But anyway, does that ever irk anyone else when the B-roll has no connection to the skating at all?
I feel like you can tell right away.
Yeah, it's like performative B-roll.
You're like, hold on, no, that was like not even it. Like it just feels, and like yeah, and it's funny because I think about like I've never really had to edit like my experience with like the swivel edits is like was really interesting because I would be getting footage and B-roll from like other people, and having to like take that B-roll and maybe like I felt like the image was like from the summer, but they only gave me like winter clips or something. Then I had to like kind of, if I was like, oh, it was good enough, like let's just put it in there somehow, or no, it doesn't make sense and like we don't need it kind of thing. That little bit of discernment. Intros
I would never.
You just ditch it. Like it doesn't.
I would never.
Yeah,
It's for me at least. It's more a way, like I like when whatever it is the project, also with photography. When it's not just a picture but an editing in general. It's you kind of build up a coherent world and try to remind myself what it is, the goal that I'm trying to convey somehow, what is. And I remember when video parts were uh, called profiles, which is a different meaning. You kind of you have the profile of a person, and for different purposes, of course. For the brand is to sell, but it was a little bit more interesting also to, at least growing up, reading Daily Bread and watching Video Groove and this kind of stuff. You kind of get to know a little bit more your hero somehow, you know and in that sense, it it really depends what it is, the goal. Everything can work on paper, every kind of filming support, every kind of music, everything can work. But when it is to the actual manifestation of something, it has to, at least for me, it has to resonate with all the different scenes or the single parts and the goal, for me at least. And so if I have all the clips with jacket and it's winter time, and then I have a bunch of clips in my shirt, and those would go on a different edit or on Instagram, or if the overall vibe is more winterish.
Or if you're wearing the same outfit, but then it's a totally different day, and you can
Yes.
tell. It's like
I'm worried
Yeah.
about that. I put on the same clothes as yesterday with the expectation that I would just, because I kind of got out too late yesterday and ended up kind of bleeding into nighttime, and that's why I had to use lights and stuff. So I was like, well, it's winter, like the light will be similar. I'll just go out today and I'll just fill in some skating clips, between the intro and outro that I shot yesterday. I'll just put more in there. No one will know. I'll just go to the same spot, try to be a little bit earlier in the day. I think it can work, but you can only go so many days,
Yeah.
I think you post enough that it like I think it just like no one can identify or tell kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
It's rare that I'll
but like
make an edit that spans multiple days. Like,
But
for sure. It's always
I would be totally fine if there's one single outfit for the whole video. In that sense, I see it like it is the character's costume, like a superhero, so it is recognizable.
Yeah, we're in a play.
And yeah, it becomes kind of invisible.
Mm.
If you have a James Dean kind of skater, and it has jeans and a white T-shirt. That's it. You know,
Yeah.
you're telling something about the person. You know, and there are skaters. I'm not gonna name in the
Oh,
Danny.
he's back.
I'm back.
Okay.
That was the quickest blip. Cool.
Yeah. There are skaters, but I'm not gonna name names. That, for example, were always black. Why not? I mean, it becomes kind of a natural thing, and also in running, there is a brand that did a beautiful thing for the Olympics that made all black uniforms for the unsponsored athletes
Oh yeah.
from the main brands,
Mhm.
and that's kind of also a statement that I'm a lonely wolf, you know, and or am I available to hire or whatever that is, that's a possibility as well.
Oh yeah, I was thinking of Cody Lampman, always all black.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what came to mind for you too, but sorry, Dan, what were you gonna say?
No, that's a great example, honestly. And then it's funny because Pietro, as soon as you start talking, I'm like, oh my god, a video, and it's just the focus is one outfit, right? And like maybe there's an introduction to the outfit like after the video or something, like special thanks.
Stop the look.
It's all about the look. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like $69.99 for these pants. It's like you show like the diagram and where to
Yeah,
buy
like
it.
the IKEA thing.
Yeah, affiliate.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I like at Blading Cup, there was the day of the
Oh.
Dead parade like around the corner, and I went and got my face painted, and it was sick. I was like trying to film, but I was like, man, I don't have what's like. I was like, I knew I could just do one thing. I had one trick in mind, so I ended up posting it. And it's like my face is painted just enough. There's only just enough detail that you can tell it's like something a little more, it does like kind of, it's sort of capturing, right? And it's funny because I have a friend as of late that has sort of like talked to me about how like she'll just put on clown makeup and like go out in public and like hang out or like go out for the night. And I'm like, oh man, I really want to do that. Like go to the gym. And I'm like, wait, why don't I just do that when I go skating? So it's funny because I've been doing all this research and like into like clown makeup or like costume makeup. Cause I think like skating is already like pretty foreign in Phoenix. It's not seen very often. And if it is, it's usually someone just trying to get somewhere, but to like, usually when I'm skating, I'm like making these statements physically, right? And people are usually ask questions or stop me. But to then add like an element of like anonymity by like creating, they already don't know who I am, but like having my face painted in such a way that it's like compelling. And then also like getting footage with that too. But I think it's sort of, I become invisible, kind of like how you said, Pietro, and like it now becomes about the movement, but now there's a little bit more of like a theatrical tone to it as well. So it's something I've been thinking about playing with. I may or may not have a shopping cart on a particular website that's full, and I'm just waiting to pull the trigger. But I think fun, and I think because that can always change. And I mean, Billy and Pietro, I don't know if you're familiar with like my edits, but I typically will have like, there's this like, I had this mask made by a gentleman who works with like a lot of like cultural groups out here, and so it's like a Azteca inspired um, like jaguar mask. And I have worn it before when skating. It's just a lot to sort of manage. It's a little heavy. And sort of I've always engaged, I've always used that as like sort of the outro image that like happens at the end of my clips. It just pops up. It's like sort of overlaid or screened over like the last clip on the outro. And so I love the idea of like character building in that, like using some sort of, I guess not avatar, but you know what I mean, in that way. So
Absolutely. And I do believe that is something that it is very related to performative arts, and from certain kind of musicians to performer in theater, all um, the Greek drama where the theater actually come from. And the mask was actually called persona, you know,
Mm.
in Greek, and was used to convey a certain kind of moment, emotional moment of the character, because was very little. You were sitting in a theater, and it was very very small, and that's also in lyrics, like you use very strong makeup in order to make the mask visible. And so, to me, is nothing outside what we do. It really depends what it is, the personal calling to every one of us, and to absolutely follow the calling, because I do believe that there is no real point in having, let's call it content. I don't like that word, but content that looks the same, because you don't need it more than one because it says one thing. But if every one of us kind of take the responsibility to follow the personal calling, and then we just share it on the table, then there is a richness in the whole culture. So I don't know what it is your calling, and I don't even know my calling what it is. It is something that I try to discover pretty much every day. But there's nothing that doesn't feel relate to what we do to me at all.
like that.
Also for the jump cut, I would totally follow that. There is an old movie called Spoon, Spun, made by I believe the director was Jonas Ackerlund, and there was I don't know, Scandinavian drummer that started shooting video clips, and then he made this feature film, and the editing of that and the sound of that is just something that wasn't done before. And
Hmm.
it's maybe was something, I don't know about the timing, but maybe Tarantino got inspired by that to do this kind of works. I suggest to you to give it a look, because
Yeah,
from the way you were speaking about what is interesting for you, you will probably enjoy it. I don't know.
I wrote it down.
Okay, cool. Let me know.
I was like, I'm gonna write that down.
I used to have the DVD when DVD were a thing.
You
You
know,
know?
it's funny. I was going through. I'm kind of constantly putting stuff into storage and pulling things out and getting rid of stuff. But there's like I like ran into this bin when I was in my storage unit like a few weeks ago, and it's just full of DVDs of old movies, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's
DVD
amazing.
player
Look at that.
with the swivel, baby.
Yeah,
We
but
were
the people at Silicon
Very
Valley
on brand.
decided that
Really.
I'm not allowed.
Yeah.
Everything
You
was
know,
swivel in that
We
house.
have all these DVDs from back in the day, and
and no
like
place to put them. It was
right. We used to have a laptop that could play them, right? Like a CD thing in the
Oh man.
laptops. That's a long
yeah,
time ago.
but it's gone since I don't know 2010.
Yeah. So we got this thing so that we could, because we could just plug it into the TV and use it as a DVD player, but we can also use it in the other room and not have to drag the TV over. Or coolest thing, I think it's battery. I think I can charge it up and we could take it camping. It's like for like a kid in a car, you know, you could like let them watch a DVD.
Yeah.
Um, it's like it's like it's like a DVD version of an iPad kit, and I am that iPad kit. But I imagine then being camping and wanting to put on a movie and being like, unless it's raining, like I'm just gonna sit in a chair outside and drink a beer probably.
Yeah, around the fire. Yeah.
Yeah, the fire is the best TV, the original TV.
Fire and Stars.
Yeah, and I've gotten really. We did a road trip last year, and I've gotten really good at like recognizing a few constellations. So now, even in the city, I can like, oh, that's Cygnus. That's because it's like I don't know. I always wanted to know about constellations, and it's nice to finally like remember them. I guess if that makes sense. But
too much light pollution here. I can see the Little Dipper, and that's it.
Did we lose? We
Big
might have
Dipper.
lost Pietro. It's coming back, maybe. Something he said made a lot of sense about profile versus a video part or a section. I was like video.
like
What's that?
I
Profile.
like that. The word profile is such a personal touch on
Yeah.
what that is. I don't know why. I'm gonna write that down though too. Just writing that word down.
He's back again. Okay.
Sorry.
Nice.
No worries. We're just talking about. Oh, that's funny. I just got your update to your shared note as a notification. Anyway, the word profile is better for the type of video that mostly that we see, because video part and video like a section, those obviously are related to the old guard, the old style, which was a full length video, and you would have a video part, which is your section, and it would sometimes be posted on its own. Well, nowadays that section might be posted on its own, but when somebody does what is actually just a profile, it's not a part or a section of anything else. It's just a standalone 5-minute edit, but we call it like a part, and it always just irks me because it's not a part of anything else. It's a part of their overall catalog of skating that they've ever put out, but it's like it's its own project, you know. I guess it's a video project, but people still say part and section, and I find it funny. It's kind of like an antiquated term, I guess I would say, because you know, the only video parts and sections that I've seen come out recently that were actually that were like, you know, sections from Brain God or something, where it's like an hour-long video. I want to go watch Drew skate over and over again, and and so I did, because he's like peaking, you know, like it's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's a video where there's a lot of persona. There's a lot of different outfits, like, let's say.
Yeah, that's for sure.
When I watch when I watch the Toe Jam video, it bugs me because I got a lot of clips on one day and I spread them out throughout my section. But there's this like recurring outfit that I'll see throughout the thing, and it's like, it kind of ruins it. Like, you know, it's almost like either have one clip from each outfit or all clips in the same outfit. But having this mix is like, it's like, he got those on the same day. Hold on. Why it's not even a rule, you know? But I noticed it in my own, because made the goddamn video and
Yeah.
watched it 1,000 times or whatever. So
Well, for you, it interrupted like the storytelling, right? For your
did.
sake. But you're not gonna like at like how many people are gonna catch it? You know what I mean?
Well, must have gotten warmer because he took off his vest, or it's like, but it's the same outfit.
It's funny because I was thinking about, you mentioned Drew, and then I think about like, because I came from aggressive skating, so like there are things in aggressive skating that like influence like there are aggressive skaters that are thinking outside of the box that then influence me with like wizard skating, right, or whatever we're doing. And then thinking about outfits, and I think I can recall every clip that I've ever seen Drew post where he's wearing gloves. And I just think it's the sickest thing. I'm like, oh, so sick. Like,
It's subtle. I mean, imagine it just one glove. Like, how much of it?
There is a clip, yeah.
Really?
There was a time where Farmer was skating with the Nightmare glove in a whole section.
So, and
like
those statement pieces are so interesting,
Yes, absolutely. But that's what I'm saying. Like, there were times where people were able to convey their personality and an outlook on the culture and influence the culture for the good or for bad. That doesn't really matter. That it really shaped, at least for me, the way I grew up, especially not being from the United States. Like, I was a kid that was totally different from the other people around me because I was belonging to the skating culture. And then I would go to competition in Europe or in Italy and find people with the same Mind Game T-shirt or Franco Shade T-shirt, or and everyone. I remember when everyone was, I don't know, 1 month before, everyone was super baggy at a competition. Next contest, everyone was skinny jeans and stripes on a on a shirt.
Like polo shirts.
Yeah, or just stripes, because that was the time. That was, I believe, 2000 and first half of 2000, let's say 2005 ish, uh, when there was the indie rock that, by the way, is coming back now, is the next trend.
Yeah.
You can hear it already in the music selection in our favorite skaters part already, but it's a global thing. And that was the first time, like, the indie sleaze aesthetic and sounds was being portrayed in videos, and that influenced pretty much all the people that I know at that time. And it's, to me, it's very interesting. It's a beautiful thing, the cultural connection,
Yeah.
which is kind of worth more also than the tricks. We belong to something, and we share stuff, as especially as young adults. Maybe nowadays it's different. I'm not gonna wear skinny jeans next year probably, but you never know.
Well, there's individual, like, I was thinking about the benefits of, or the homogeneity of the culture. Like you said, everyone was baggy, and then a month later everyone was skinny. And obviously it's gradual shift or whatever, but there was someone who was influential, probably, who did it first, and who set the tone of, like, hey, this is actually what's cool now, because of their skating, or at least their charisma and ability to kind of just be whatever felt right in that moment and not adhere to the dominant paradigm. Like I think that's kind of the most interesting thing that we can do is like I for sure personally am just always trying on different looks, I guess. Like I feel like over time it's shifting to more baggy, like going from cycling where everything is pretty skinny. Like I have pants that I bought from Sleuth that I want to use in a skating video, but I'm riding my bike with my skates, and I was like, I can't wear those pants. They'll get caught in the chain, right? Like they will. And so that was the wake up moment of like, oh, my style has shifted, you know, and that's from sport to sport. But now I guess like it's cool to see people making, well, people at least making a statement like, hey, look at how baggy we can go. And look at this like silhouette that exists when you do that, kind of coming from ski culture. So I guess I wanted to bring it to like kind of wizard style because aggressive skating has a pretty, not homogenous, but like there's a look, you know, and you have like the Broskow look or you have like the Kelso look. And there's people that have a similar, you have like RJ Parker or whatever, like in Witzeman with that kind of super baggy look. And then you have the Dickies shorts, Dickies pants, you know, kind of LA skater look. My point is just that I don't think we have as strong of role models or tone setters, people who are setting the tone and saying like this is how it's going to look in wizard skating. Like the closest we have, in my opinion, is like the harem pants that Leon would wear in like Wizard of Wall Street and stuff. But in subsequent videos, you know, we have Stu and Colin, and there's not, I mean, it's okay that it's not like homogenous. I don't want it to be, but like, it's hard to even say if people are imitating anyone or if they're just hobbyists that go to the tennis court and skate. You know, like, are we in the culture to the point where we are trying to make statements like that or listen to other people's statements like that?
I don't believe that is the moment. Sorry, Danny.
No, you're
You
good.
want
This is a big topic.
We're all
So
excited. Yeah. It's pants.
it's pants.
We're all excited.
It's pants. Yeah.
What pants?
No, I don't believe we are at that moment in this niche yet, but that, for my experience as aggressive skater, would be the same mechanism behind selling skates, you know. And maybe it's because not everyone is skating since their whole life. Maybe people are skating since, I don't know, a couple of years, 4 or 5 years, and so that is something that has to yet to become part of the culture in a natural way. And also because of the kind of video content are completely different. But I do see it in a romantic way, thinking about my past especially, but also today, you know, that there is a uniform that speaks that I am a skater. That uniform can be done of different kind of skating, but when I grew up, if I would see someone with black high top Vans, skinny jeans, long hair, Iron Maiden t-shirt, you know, and I would see holes in the shoes, but not even, because at that time only skateboarder would wear those kind of shoes. You know, I would immediately know if I would see someone that had spray paint stains on the shoes, I would know that the person would do graffiti, you know. And I would connect with people at school or around, you know, because of the uniform. And to me, like maybe going back to the character thing in the performance, it is a way also to be me with myself. I've been skating for my whole life. That's what I am, and that's how I picture myself for myself. But also to be proud to be that in in the ordinary world. That
Mhm.
especially where I do live, they see me as a thief. You know, if I walk on a sidewalk in Berlin, maybe I'm a cool guy, but here I'm definitely a bad guy. Just being myself, you know. But that kind of teach me to that whatever is the outside perception of that can change regardless my my inner reasons to do that. So it really, I don't know, it really sounds for myself as a way to not hide, to self-respect the fact that I am a skater. I don't need to be understood or or shared as point of view toward life, but I know what skating did for me, and I'm very fine with that. I'm grateful, you know. So it's like a way to really represent the culture out there, and maybe there is a kid who's impressed by the fact that I wear a certain look, or by the fact that I'm skating, as it was for me. The first impression of a skater was that strong to influence my whole life, and I picked up friends, travels, life experience, photography, video making, and whatever I was able to pay my bills with. Thanks to that first impression, that the momentum of that was stronger than everything that the social life was throwing at me, like girlfriends and whatever, regular jobs and stuff. And I'm still pretty much a skater that has to deal with that also. You know, so it is a way to, you know, to just to represent the culture, and not in a way to be selfish or proud or this is the right thing to do, but because I know how much good to fall into the culture was for me. The reason why I'm speaking English right now, I'm able to talk to you, is because of that, because I never studied at school. I learned it on the road. And because I was interested to read Daily Bread, and had the I think was biology or something like that teacher in the high school that was an English lady, and I used to be very good in that class because I wanted to finish before the class was over to ask her to tell me what Daily Bread was saying. You know, and
So
that's how I learned it, and through music and through try to understand what was in a skate video. And it's it's something that did and gave me that much that I feel I want to try to give it back, and maybe I can be that for someone, not because it's me, but because I'm not hiding that from
My
around.
my favorite thing is when I feel like I have a sick outfit on, I'm skating, and I go roll into like the grocery store to like grab a water because I'm like, I feel like if a kid can just see me, right? Like I feel like I'm already maybe I put myself together in a way that if young me saw me, they'd be like, oh shit, like that, like, oh, that,
I
whoa,
want to
okay,
be that dude when I
That's
grow
cool.
up.
that's sick. Like, what is happening here? Like, the curiosity would be so visceral that I would need to like engage with it. Like, I always try and like, I do like skating in public and like putting myself in places like that where it's a surprise, right? And also, like, when you're on skates, you're already like 15 feet tall and taller than everyone else in the store mostly. But just to like make that impression on like the younger generation, like, is almost like what, like, if I'm skating and an adult sees me, cool, maybe they're like, they used to skate all the time, they go get some skates, whatever. Or maybe they like know it's not for them, maybe they end up like getting skates for their kid. And I have an 11-year-old and she always like is very like outfit driven and like wants to like wear something cool when she skates, and like definitely gets that from me, but also like naturally. Oh no.
Hopefully he'll be back. I feel like his phone just turned
Right.
off.
And so like just that, it's just fun. I think it's pretty fun. I mean, and we all have very interesting styles like you, Billy. Wear a lot of colors. I feel like you wear a lot of colors, and I think that like is very much like a virtue of freedom, is all of that color wearing, right? We're like maybe wearing more like, oh, he's back. Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, so I was telling Billy, I'm like, I'm really impressed by like how many colors he wears all the time, because there's like a virtue of like freedom to that. And that like if someone sees, you know, I think when we're young, we try and like identify with like these ideas of people, and everyone has like a different taste, right, or a different idea of like what they want to be or how they feel, but maybe they don't look like that, or they're trying to like move into that version of themselves, right, whatever it is. Like, I can remember when like I switched to skinny jeans and then back to baggy, right, and it was people I was seeing reflections, oh, maybe I will, okay, this works, like, and then I switched back to bat, like, and so I think like making that impression on like young people, like, we're really just normal people with wheels on our feet. Like, I think the rollerblade and the details of the actual skaters usually go right over people's heads when they see them. They just see a human on rollerblades, and so if your outfit is like complementary to like how you feel, like we do feel great, we do feel cool on skates, and we're like a really rare breed in that aspect as well. Like, just to even be on rollerblades, I never see random rollerbladers where I live that often. I think it makes like an impression, and then making that impression on like a young mind is like, I think, just like super fulfilling. I wanted to make a comment really quick about how weird the mention of like styles changing. I feel like wizard skating might be robbed of that entirely because of how fast social media just moves, and people ideas, and how many different people then are like interacting with wizard skating, that like I feel like, whereas back then in like the early 2000s or the 90s, like there was all these slow progressions and easier progressions into like different styles and ideas, where it's like, oh, okay, like harem pants, that was like for 2 years and then gone. You might see Benji wear them like once, and then, or like one clip of like Leon wearing them. They like didn't, they were like a heavy thing for, I feel like 1 or 2 years. I would see them very, very constantly, and then kind of like disappeared. So like, I feel like in this day and age that I think wizard skating will be mostly robbed of that in its early years, and that not until like another generation like totally picks it up will it start to like evolve that way. But it's just a bunch of old guys on skates right now, so we're just
I think that's part of it. The age of the participant, like there's maybe less willingness or less interest in trying to find a new style, like your own new style that comes from skating. Let's say like you might have been into football or baseball your whole life, so you kind of wear, you know, a golf shirt or whatever. Like there's some look that you've probably had that was not necessarily like alternative, or maybe it was. I don't know. I just kind of feel like there's more daring fashion choices that come from the youth as opposed to older folks. And the skating style is mostly older folks. But I was thinking, if I were to see like the wizard skate, the R frames, whatever, on its own, and I imagined the outfit that went with that, it would be, in my mind, probably kind of futuristic, kind of the Matrix type of vibe. Like the plastic skates of the 90s were
Retro futuristic then.
yeah, well, Matrix is older, I guess, but I guess, and I see some glimpses of, I guess Benji will sometimes rock this with like the kind of retro futuristic sunglasses and like a tight trainer shirt or something like that, and like baggy pants. Like that's a kind of futuristic, you know, like in the future we don't have colors, everyone wears black or whatever, you know. I don't know. I just imagine like technical gear with like zippers and straps and pockets, because the wizard skate is like so technical looking, you know. There's all this stuff. So and then taking a step back from just that skate, like if you were to wear any of the boots on the wall that I'm looking at without wheels on them, like just as footwear, you'd have to have some crazy ass outfit to go with it, because otherwise what the fuck? Like walking around in like shiny or see-through shoes with
I
like
mean,
liners and like all this stuff, like straps, like LA Gear style, you know, like you kind
it's
of
pretty
like,
cyberpunk, you know.
yeah.
Skates are the first step in transhumanism, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, you just
Becoming
have this
an
technology where you have wheels now,
yeah.
The
Well,
prosthetic.
and it's
even if you didn't have wheels, you know what I mean? Like the boots themselves, like I'm again, I have like super colorful ones, so that's me. But like if I were to wear something that looked like the Adapt boot, just like walking around, like that's a statement piece of footwear, you know. So just there's in this inherent statement being made by having something like that on. And for a long time, like aggressive skates tried to, you know, you'd have like the Valo skins to try to be like, no, it's shoes, I swear. Like, oh no,
just fucking big.
caricature shoes, like
Way heavier.
like from a video game. Yeah, but they're shoes. And I like that big wheels can't really pretend that there's no wheels. You know, like with aggressive skates, you kind of like from the top you can't see the small little wheels under there. It's like just a big weird shoe. There's no hiding a 4x100 setup. Like you're a weird dude on some futuristic technology. So yeah, I feel like I've talked about this. I don't know if I guess with Dan, or I forget who, but it might have been with the local group. Those skates also, they don't just give us a pass or the authority to wear weird clothes. They also give us a pass to hang out in places that if I was just on shoes, I wouldn't be hanging out with 15 friends in a random park in the city. You know, like if we're on our bikes, sure, but then we put our bikes down and we're, you know, cyclists. We're not like skaters. There's a different kind of, there's a nice authority that comes from wearing the skates, where you are just allowed to be in places that would be kind of weird to just be hanging out in otherwise for extended periods, like a parking lot or a vista or a plaza or something. Like I like that it, you know, like carrying a skateboard is like you're in the club, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty easy to purchase a skateboard. It doesn't have to be the right size. It's just you know, there's subtlety. Obviously, I have 4 different skateboards, but like, you know, you just carry it, and when you're not carrying it, you have to dress that way so that you show that you are that person. Anyway, my point is just the skates give us like this interesting reason to express ourselves or be in a place, like wear a thing. So I like them for that reason.
Absolutely. I I like to see it from a point of view that, you know, I'm a I'm a parent of a 4 years old, you know, and if my daughter would come to me and say, I like that person and I want to have the same toy, being that a scooter or whatever. As a skater parent, maybe I can do different kind of consideration, but as a normal, more standard parent or whatever she will bring up in the future, that I don't know, that I'm not familiar with, I would ask how much that cost, or I would approach that person. But I would also try to figure out what that person feels like. It feels like, do I want my daughter to be like that person when she grows up? you know so if that person is nice, is dressed in a way that whatever it is, the nuance or touch of personal expression to it, it is nice, doesn't look like something by chance, you know and maybe speaks different languages, speaks about the experience of traveling the world, having friends everywhere, and that will sell me, uh, that will sell me the culture. So in that sense, especially when I'm on skates, but also when I'm off skates, I do feel my choices are not necessarily personal, and especially if I go to the skate park or if I go to the seaside where there are people passing by skates, you know and overall it all boils down to try to be a good person, a good human being in every interaction. And but I know for myself that if that is so, a lot of it depends from the experience that I had by skating. You know,
Mhm.
to be able to travel, for example, and see the people are doing the same thing in very different way in different part of the world. So there is no one way to do stuff. There is not the right way. you know and then when you share couch with other people, you learn how to stay together, how to not take too much space, especially if you're hosted by someone. And then when you travel, life is just unpredictable and you can't control it. And that something that it's closer to the reality of life than whatever in a certain society we might pretend to you know
Mhm.
and so in this sense, the lifestyle to me, and also to my personal experience as a photographer, I did a book back in the days about the skating culture, and the lifestyle is then the main selling point to the culture. And so whatever it is, the equipment or whatever it is, the apparel or whatever, will just be a side effect of that. But and we see this happening a lot in the mainstream world with skateboarding, you know
Mhm.
and how that influences from the top down fashion. And so whatever it is, fast fashion, and whatever we can find at H&M, Primark, or whatever it is, the you know we can find Dickies look-alike pants for couple of bucks, you know.
Mhm.
So in this sense, it's also with social media never feels like a private thing. You know, I can decide to become aware of that and try to, since anyway I will channel something, at least I channel my values through whatever it is, my uniform, and whatever it is the way I interact with other people, because there might be a parent looking at me, or a kid, or someone who used to skate, or and that's the kind of contribution we do anyway, just being around as skaters.
Yeah.
Mm.
So we we might care about it or not, and it's totally fine. But I do believe we do it anyway. You know.
Oh yeah. If you see somebody, if you're skating along and you see that someone sees you, like you skate more casually, yeah, more cool. Like that stride, that one stride is that one.
When you like land, you're like, oh.
No, but the like not even
really
doing a
quick,
trick.
Billy, before you go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah.
I do gotta go. I have
Oh,
to
you
go.
do? Okay.
I do.
Mm.
So, but it was great hanging
for hanging
out, chatting. I know we'll talk soon again. Pietro, I'm sure we'll initiate a dialogue from here. So, really
Yeah, for
cool,
sure.
man. I'm glad. This was sick. This was really cool.
I'm glad we got to hang out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for being down.
Guys,
Let's
enjoy
talk
the rest
again
of your day.
soon.
I'll see you around
All right. See you, Dan.
later.
Ciao.
Um,
I don't even know how to. Wait, I think I know.
you're out. I just clicked it for him. I figured it would be, yeah.
I don't hear you anymore.
Me? No?
Your microphone is off or
No dice? Any
gone.
sound? No? Okay, let me I'm gonna kick out Dan because
Shall I
he's
try to get out and come back in?
am I still inaudible? Nothing?
I'll be right back.
Okay. Just me now. We'll see if Pietro comes back. I'm gonna get headphones. Can you hear me?
I do.
Cool. Okay, I got some headphones just in case, but yeah, I was thinking about the difference between skate like no one's watching and skate like someone's watching.
Always skating like someone is watching.
Really?
Because
it's so hard to skate like no one's watching. Like that's a really good place to be. I don't know if I ever get there, especially if I'm filming because someone is watching.
yeah, but I am watching myself.
Right, observing, paying attention to
I'm trying to
astral project, like
no, I'm not
watching.
trying to astral project myself. I can barely skate, and then I try to astral project
Parallel
myself.
slide all the way into another dimension, bro.
No, but I'm trying to be in my body, and in order to do that, um, I try to have the perception of it, and also I will rewatch most probably every single try.
Yeah.
and and then I am aware other people will watch it,
Mhm.
and beside the vanity of this lame attempt to try to look cool, I'm more speaking about a certain kind of practice of um, training my proprioception, which makes my skating easier. Like next time I go skate, I'll I train my neural system to have more fidelity in the manifestation of the signal of my intention, which most probably is my trick.
Mhm.
But that makes my next idea most probably a little bit easier to come to manifestation when I will try to go.
Yeah, progressively. And I know we've chatted about this before, but like, not necessarily when you say fidelity, not necessarily more and more specific instructions for all the different parts of the body. It's not like it's not like I'm training and trying to remember how to move my hand a specific way when I do a specific move. It's more like paying attention to like what happens when you instruct this thing, like what's working and what's not. Like there's yeah, I'm trying to think of it in terms of instead of remembering the ways that I do want to move, like remembering the things that I do that I don't like how it looks. Like I don't know if that makes sense, but there's
Absolutely. Like
like if
I have
it's okay, don't get stuck. As opposed to I moved this way one time, I should move that way every time. Like I'm not trying to do
no,
that.
no, no, no. I'm not talking about trying to build uh, a style.
Mm.
For me, I do relate to it. I have a art background, and I would say a good analogy would be to learn how to draw or to paint. Every time the subject you're gonna draw might be different, can be a portrait, can be whatever.
Mhm.
But in order to be able to actually perform the sign that I had in mind, I need to draw a lot.
Yeah. Does
And
it does it feel like you're building with each session or tearing down um, with like removing layers of habit and like scaling, like how you know how our bones and everything kind of get like scaled over and like hardened over time.
yes,
That's also like habits and patterns of movement that we can like strip back with each session. Like I don't know, I feel like maybe both things are happening at the same time.
yeah, I would say so. It is definitely what you're saying, definitely. And especially coming from aggressive skating and been skating for so long without the same, mm, I don't know if attitude is the right word, or
Yeah.
but
Yeah. A way
toward
that
it.
we observe and pay attention to ourselves, like the
Yes,
critical
be,
thoughtfulness. Yeah. Yeah.
being focused on landing the trick, and that's it for so long, not having any idea of what my the rest of the body would do, and now it's completely different. And so for sure there are a lot of habits that has to I can slowly try to remove from the equation, at least while I'm skating. And at the same time, I don't know, would be like let's say there are habits that are tensions. Then there is the intention, which is what comes from inside that I want to do. There is tension that is doing frictions,
Hmm.
and I can work on the negative path and try to remove the tensions. And that's one way that I do. But at the same time, there is the other part or the neutral part, which is the attention, not tension, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's easier to solve a problem in the way the movement transmit and transform into my body, working on removing attention. And sometimes it works easier just trying to have attention to that specific part, because I can have the tiger paw, but I can have a dead end.
Yeah.
So
There's
I
some.
need to approach it. Those are tools. I need to approach it probably in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good. You got me thinking about other versions of. Well, two things. I think I saw in Danny Aldrich's story today. Um, don't worry about friction. It means you have traction. And I was like, okay. It means you're getting somewhere. It means you're butting up against something, like your intention that's coming from inside is bucking up or hitting up against the normal patterns of movement that you've done before, and the body is resisting it in some way, right? Like, I don't turn to the right. Not me, I turn to the right, I swear. But then also extension, but now I'm getting like just
But
semantic.
no.
That's one of
Please,
the tensions
please,
is
please go, because what comes in my mind is perception. If whatever kind of particles or wave from light, colors, and sound
Mhm,
wouldn't bounce against other particles, and so find something that generates friction, I
mhm.
wouldn't be able to perceive those.
Yes.
I don't know.
Agree. Well, I think I know what you mean though. Like, there's uh maybe nothing is going to be, it's not easy to be perfect flow state, like laminar flow. There's going to be turbulence, and that's okay. Like, we're not a perfect energy aura moving through a
Yes,
vacuum, like
we
we
are
all,
in a 3D world,
yeah,
and we have physical bodies and stuff appear to be physical to our senses,
yeah,
at least.
yeah.
And
And we there's examples though that I see every once in a while of somebody violating like Newton's law. Like, our physics laws just describe what is happening, not necessarily like something beyond it, right? It's just based on observation. So like, then you see somebody, I saw a tap dancer who right, like, and then he was like explaining his process, which is great because I don't tap dance, so I don't really know if he only were to show like the levitation moment, I'd be like, wow, I guess all tap dancers do that. Oh, this is actually an interesting topic, like showing the process. um yeah, like if somebody just randomly sees a wizard skating video of mine and they're like, oh cool, that's what people do on rollerblades, like everyone on rollerblades probably is about that good, or whatever, like, and I'm doing some swivel jump thing that's like the hardest trick I've ever done, and they're like, oh cool, that must be normal for skaters, right? Like,
you wish.
and I realized that came across like a little bit whatever, conceited, but my point is just I like showing some of the process that goes into it, because For other people, like when I watch this tap dancer, I now know that first 2 seconds that he showed, and then he jumped into the process, right? They show like the coolest breakthrough that they have, and then, or he did, and then he was like, okay, so where I started was this is the basic move, and then here I do this, you know, it had like a little extra moment where he like probably did a compression. Realistically, everyone's just copying Colin Martin, they just don't know it. And
Yeah.
and like, I don't know, it was just a really cool thing. So seeing somebody do like telekinesis or some crazy thing that like breaks the rules just shows me like, oh, okay, like there's room, I can keep pushing. Like there maybe is a way to find so much flow that it like on video breaks the rules of what somebody expects a movement to achieve. Like, and I will say that I don't want to get into gear, but like there's times on the adapts where I'm like, oh, okay, that was, I levitated across the ground there. Like there should have been friction. Like I have rubber wheels on asphalt, but somehow it was a glide. Like that's some wizard shit, you know? So
Yeah, sometimes I feel like I'm cheating with these skates. No, for real, there are things that maybe now that I did it with this, I would be able to perform in a different step. It's like, you know,
yeah.
when you try with a rocker frame and then you go back to an aggressive skate, you can still do a gazelle.
Yeah.
But to learn the gazelle straight on with flat wheels and small wheels, no rocker, that would require a different time frame and effort.
Yeah.
So maybe I would be able to perform something that I already did with these skates, but sometimes it really feels like I would just skate different as I used to skate before in a
Yeah.
different way. And it happened to me to try also the same movements and to watch the clip side by side. And it really looks different. The sharpness and even though it's
The squish, like the sensitivity almost. Like it's a very I'm constantly skating different stuff, right? I skated the wizard boots yesterday and the daps before that, and that's like the biggest change, the farthest ends of the spectrum for me. And I guess to zoom out a little bit, removing tension from the system of which the skates are a part, like a main part, removing that tension allows your intention to like manifest more easily. Like it might not be pretty, like maybe the idea you have isn't good, right? Like, but it at least comes through in maybe fewer tries. And then you can look at the video and be like, okay. But usually if it seems like a good idea, like you've latched onto some movement and you're like, let me like dig into that, and like that's, now I'm applying some intention to this like otherwise random movement. You know, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try this trick that kind of felt good. If it really feels good, it's gonna look good too, you know. And I think I can tell at least when the equipment is making the image more murky or like not as clear, like what was the goal in that moment. So I think a skate that can remove layers of tension or fighting the equipment, like just like stretching your body, removes those layers of tension.
yeah, but
The better.
the fact that there is not a puffy liner that has to go to a cuff that moves, that is attached to a boot that is attached to a sole plate. There is so many places. There are so many places where the energy get dispersed, and instead, my experience with my skates, it is different, and I realized it immediately when I tried the first Gazelle,
Mm-hmm.
and I was about to backflip
Yeah.
because my, let's call it muscle memory, even if I'm not sure I do believe in that, but I applied the same habit
Mm-hmm.
to a different tool and was just more precise and most resonant, more resonant. And so the delivery of the energy was a different amount.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if they are big or they are small, you can be more under yourself
Yeah.
and do sharper movements. And it depends the other tools. What is the frame? What are the wheels? Of course, the shape of the wheels, and how tall you are. What are your body habits and so many things. It's not that you buy one skate and this will make you a good skater, or you have a different skate and this makes you a bad skater.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe it is part of the process with everything, to kind of try to know a little bit more myself and then make decision of what are the qualities that resonate with whatever I am, and try to make my job easier or my life easier.
Yeah.
It's like tuning in a different radio station. I know what kind of music I want to listen to. I might pick the one that is closer to my taste.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I guess without going too much into the gear, there is a question about frame length. But like, yeah, I guess where do I want to go with that? I guess I'll just put this up.
I
Uh,
can't read it, sorry.
oh, hi guys. I've got a question for Billy. Where has your preference on frame length landed? Like, basically, what's the best frame length? And I'm like, I don't know. I guess there's different boots. Like, what the point I wanted to actually get to was it's interesting that the skates are it's not that interesting, but the point is that skates are the most important part of the how the movement is going to look. Like, if you wore super tight clothes that don't stretch, that's kind of similar to wearing a boot that's too tight or is going to restrict your movement in some way. Like, for me, I like the 4x90 on the Adapt. On the Seba, it's pretty good. There's no way I would skate that on the Wizard boot. Like, it's just not the right ratio of things. So I skate like a 5-wheel frame on the Wizard boot, or when I put a 5-wheel frame on the Adapt, it's completely different than a 4-wheel setup. Like, completely. And all the ankle flex of the Adapt, right? Because I can almost touch my knees like to the ground. I feel like in that boot. Um, Combining that with a longer frame, my whole body dynamic gets lower because I'm able to bend the ankles, knees, hips, and waist without falling over. And so I don't know. I guess I was thinking about something like breakdancing where there's no stiff skate or flexible skate. There's nothing. Like, it's just maybe your shoe choice matters, of course, but like when you're doing a handstand or a palm spin, like, you're not wearing foam gloves, or a wrist brace to achieve it, right? How stiff of a wrist brace do you use to do handstand palm spins? Like, it's not part of the conversation. It's just how tight or loose is your body. Like, I think, isn't that kind of I find that interesting that skateboard you have like how loose or tight are the trucks maybe, but like how grippy is your grip tape. There's a few factors that affect like the shapes of the movement, but man, we really focus on those skates, you know, like there's so much more happening. Like, I don't know. I feel like I have questions like frame length and things like this, and not to put that question on blast or anything, but it's so much more common that there's questions about the equipment as opposed to questions about the movement, or do you stretch beforehand, or what stretches do you do, or sort of, you know, any of that sort of stuff. First of all, do you like stretch at all, like touch your toes and, you know, pull the
If I like to do
quads?
that.
Yeah.
No,
What's that?
I when I do that, I don't like it how it feels.
Sure. You gotta
No,
like sit with it for a while, and you know, like sitting forward bend, or like you only do it if you have to, like if you're feeling tight after a skate or something, or
no. Actually, when I'm in a good spot in my regular life, I try to do yoga in the morning, just a little bit. I'm not a yoga
sure.
master at all, but to just recover from the way I slept, you know, and make the fluids just go around a little bit.
Hmm.
And but hanging out with dancers a lot, I did for 10 years.
Right.
uh, I understood that they stretch after they work with their body, and they do a warm-up routine instead before.
Yeah.
And in my personal experience, um, when I tried to stretch before, probably because of my body had accident with my bike and a truck, so stuff is broken, and but a long time ago. But
Yeah.
I have issues. Let's say uh, if I stretch before, it is most likely that if I jump just down a few stairs, couple of stairs, the impact would lead to have a headache
Mm.
afterward,
Hmm.
because the transmission. And so I stopped doing that before, and then I learned that people that works every day with their body actually do it afterward. And I wish I would be more disciplined
For
in
sure.
in doing that. Sorry, but I try to have a skating routine that is built up on that. Usually I warm up. Usually when I go to skate, I have an idea of whatever I want to try to do, and it's been boiling since couple of days or weeks.
The
So
visual,
then
visual, or is it like more like you imagine the words of this of the move, like it's a
no,
this.
it is visual,
Okay.
and then a lot of it uh, goes along to finding a skate spot where that would make sense, would be in a relation to
Hmm.
the architecture, to the body of the architecture. So there are ideas that I have that I never find a spot, so I never went filming. So I don't know if I can do it. And
But they're intrinsically connected. It
yeah,
sounds like. Yeah.
at least in this moment of my skating, that's my process. And so there is a lot of visualization
Hmm.
of the idea before, and then what when I go to skate, the way that I do warm up is to split that idea in the single elements, whatever it is. It's a gazelle, it's a lion, and I do a couple of those, and then a couple of the other part, and then the other part, and then try to put together uh, A and B, then B and C, and then try to put together all of them.
Yeah.
And then when I get, usually it's kind of quick, it's half an hour, then I get to do the movement on flat nearby the spot. Then I usually am warm enough to start recording. And then I eat shit for a couple of hours. And then before, like when I start to nail a try that it feels good and it looks fair enough on camera, because I'm never happy, and it looks fair enough, I try to have, I don't know, 5 to 10 of those quality tries landed
Yeah.
more. And this would mean maybe 50 tries or 100 tries more. and um and that there is a moment where I feel the energy just shift, which means I shouldn't skate anymore, because
Mhm.
otherwise I get hurt. And so then I skate around another beat, then I remove my skates and smoke a cigarette, make the socks a little drier before putting it into the shoes, otherwise the smell.
Oh yeah.
And
They
I
dry better
check,
on your feet than off your feet.
yeah, I try to check the whatever are the marked
Yeah.
clips.
The end.
Usually I send one straight away to Manuel and then hope for a good feedback, and then going back home and uh, check all of them,
Hmm.
try to cut them down from the first frame of the really beginning of the move and the very last frame of just the move, so I can swipe and watch them right
Yeah.
after the other, and start to feel if there's one that has, by luck or by the fact that I was there, I fished a fish that has some life in it. There is a rhythm. Most of the time is the rhythm. And and then I try to edit that, and then I try to I share it on the pop
Mhm.
group, and and then the shitstorm starts, and and that's it. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not, and then I make it wait a couple of days and see if I like it afterward. So this is whole part of my warming up and getting out routine.
Yeah.
And it lasts like a month pretty much, because there is visualization before, and then try to do the stuff. If I'm not happy, I might go back to the spot couple of times. And it's, but I am a clip skater. Like, if I do whatever game of skate with whatever kid that never wizard skate before, I'll lose. you
Sure.
know so that's the way I enjoy skating, because I do research this kind of
Yeah.
stuff, and the filming, and everything. So it's a whole process that the body warms up, cools down, but my entity is cooking the whole time.
I was thinking the same thing about warming up versus stretching before or after. And if you're just constantly skating, you can stretch all the time and warm up all the time. You're always stretching before and after you skate if you're always skating.
Accordingly to the way you treat yourself while skating, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I used to be that kind of dude that put the skates on and jump off the roof.
Mm.
That was a different age. I would not be able to afford that
Yeah.
now. uh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
But from those recovery stretching that I do, at least, it's by necessity, because I feel a lot of tension through the hamstrings recently, and like in the hips and stuff. So I've been stretching a lot. I am way more flexible than I've been in a long time. Like with cycling, I think the range of motion is tight. Your arms are in a static position for the most part on a road bike. You know, and the BMX bike is different, but the pedals can only ever go so big.
Yeah.
And so I guess I don't know, I would stretch, but it would be within this like tight band. Now I can touch my toes like way easier and lock my knees out. And like, I'm surprised, honestly, that just this work from, like, I think it started from Ben Magaziner, the Skateability, just doing
Sorry,
passive. Yeah.
Billy. I need to grab a charger real quick,
Okay.
otherwise it dies.
Can you make
Just
it? Okay.
maybe.
Couple of technical difficulties here. It's all right. We're professional podcasters, obviously.
Sorry. Let's try if it works.
You're good. Maybe?
Yeah, 8%.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, but
Yeah, so yeah, getting more flexible through a fuller range of motion from just doing passive squat, I think is a big one. But I was thinking also, one of the things I saw recently was like, it's a super built dude, but his videos are like frequent and kind of go viral, and they're like, do these seven Chinese warm up moves to rid yourself of all health problems, or something like this, to cure yourself of anything. And it has like golf swings where you're kind of swinging this way, and you're doing like dead arms and a few other upper body like warm up movements. And in terms of making skating look better and removing tension and like removing this scaled up stiffness that we feel in our body, like that's one of the best things I found that's one of the best things that I've been doing recently. Like my shoulder also kind of, I injured it like a year ago, so I'm pretty sensitive to like if I need to do a spontaneous push up, like catch myself when I eat shit. I want to be like warmed up and a little bit, I don't want this to be the first exertion that my shoulder does in the day, like jumping off a roof or whatever. So yeah, like I don't know, that we talked about the skates being restrictive or having a need to like strip down the amount of padding and moving parts and all that kind of stuff from the skate. Like I think yeah, same is true with like specifically the upper body. Like I think a lot of people don't pay much attention to it, and so it becomes something that just finds a holding pattern, or like it's often like up here, just like this is where it feels safest to just like skate for some people, or down here.
yeah,
Like I've noticed over time I've got more comfortable. It's like my arms have come down, but I want to be able to do this when I need to,
it happened to me during a workshop in Berlin. I asked people to try to do a gazelle with their hands in their pocket,
yeah.
and if that would affect.
Did anybody hit their face or
No, but I do believe in the beginning they seen it like a challenge, so they were actually happy to be able to do that. But the the question was, is that affecting your range of movement and how you do the gazelle? The common answer was yes. So this to me kind of enlightens that the upper body contributes, and the arms as well contributes in the movement. So to me, it's not a matter of style or posing, or it's more a matter to really try to see how my body wants to organize in order to perform a certain movement, then watch the clip and figure out if there are things that I'm not aware of, and maybe my arm is not making space for the head to turn, and so the hips doesn't turn, and that makes me not land the trick or not doing the way I wanted to. So then I use a scientific method. What if I make space before?
Hmm.
So then the chain of motion can be just mechanically more free. And most of the time what happens is that the energy that I was using before then becomes too much. So when I do like a gazelle this way, that happened in the Berlin workshop the first year, they would end up with a 360 survival at the end, because then the energy was allowed to flow with way less friction, and so there was an over rotation, and the understanding of this makes my hypothesis or guess the next time that I go to skate more accurate, because I have case histories somehow. If
Yeah.
that makes sense, I don't know.
Oh, it definitely does. Like it's the hope is that there's transferring of the learnings from one session to the next. And usually I find that's the case. Like if I was struggling with a trick and tried it a bunch of different ways, I think okay, I'll say it this way. The more I struggle with the trick, probably the better I'm going to do it next session, because I experimented in all these different ways, and I learned that, oh, it wasn't the feet, it wasn't the knees, it wasn't the eyes, it was the arm, or whatever it was. I trial and errored all these other things that didn't work. And so then I go to try it the next day, or I'm sure this happens for you too. It's like you get into it a little bit faster, like find the,
Yes, yes, that is the thing. That is the thing. Like, it is more that I work in a certain way, my progression will be faster and more rooted in my body because there is understanding, you know. And when I see reels of uh, beginner skaters, I see there are people mm, that I see they have a lot of potential in their body,
hmm,
and but maybe they have not the right or the most efficient way to work, and so maybe they got stuck into learning the basics or the basic tricks for a long time, and the progression is not as spontaneous as it could be, so it's more, I do believe that mm, there are so many skaters that technical wise and their body, the way they move naturally, they are way better than myself. And I would see them like having a bright career,
hmm.
probably instead of me. If
In addition, but
maybe, I don't know.
they would be
No,
bringing
if
something to the table that's, uh, yeah, that is maybe more energy, more power, whatever. I know this. Like I see people that I'm like, I skate like that, but man, they have some like power. or
Yeah, or
speed or
elegance,
whatever it is. Yeah,
or
yeah,
elegance. There
grace.
are people that I really enjoy to see their skating, and they could be people I would look up to very quickly.
Hmm.
But I do see this can really depend from the workflow.
Yeah,
You know
having
what I mean?
maybe a structured approach. I think what's cool about the workshops that you've done and the kind of approach that you've put out there through the some writing things like this is that there's like a structure to it. It's not um, this kind of like wandering through the forest in the dark, hoping you get a good trick. Right? It's there is a spotlight, and you're going in a specific direction, and you're is that the right way? No, is that the right way? Like it's not. I don't know. I feel like there's definitely a trend in folks that are wizard skating where they kind of get really into it, and like you said, they learn kind of the basic moves, gazelles and lions, and some pivots, and they're chaining things together, and it's looking really good. And then they lose interest because they did the grind poses, or they did the things they were supposed to do. They checked the bingo card, or whatever, like the checklist, and
Yeah.
realize like that's just the first step. It's not the last step. Um,
Yeah, there is so many things that contribute to keep it fun, to having a personal path in the culture. Um, I'm not saying I have the method to do something, but I know for myself I share with the pop crew ideas, and also the method is refining over time as it is the movements, as it is the filming. But uh, I do find I've been skating in a different way for so long, and now I find my progression. I wish I knew before that I could do that,
yeah,
and also I find, especially the skating with no spots on a parking lot, with only my body and all the contribution of the community going on, I find it the hardest way to come up
really.
with a good idea,
Mm.
you know, because it doesn't have to be an MBD. It's not about that. I mean, it was for a long time now, but now we reached a certain progression that it's harder and harder and harder, and
Yeah.
everyone is technical wise is so good. So it's kind of a little bit more a no-brainer to say, if I do I spin to topside this drop off rail, that's good. you know
The spot.
that will be relevant, you
Yeah.
know and so it's, to me, is where it comes down to choices, personal expression. What it is relevant for me, it is what it is, my calling, my research, pretty much. If I'm happy with a clip, I don't need other people to have a lot of views, or to like it, or to comment, or if I am happy with my skating, I am happy with my skating. And if other people see, understand the nuances I was working on, that's of course awesome. If this is not happening, I will keep skating because I am happy with my skating.
Yeah, I I see in other action sports, I guess we can call my point. The summary here is wizard skating an action sport, and I'm going to basically say that in aggressive skating and skateboarding, BMX, scootering, the predominant paradigm is that there is a set of movements, and where you apply them is what makes them mostly new, relevant, unique, personal, etc. How you do the movement matters a lot as well. You can do the same exact trick as someone else, and how you do it matters. I think my point is that especially in skateboarding right now, I feel like there's this desperation, almost this desperate need to show the same trick, not necessarily always on bigger and bigger spots. Like, it's not, I feel like hammer skating is not as popular at the moment. Obviously, there are some, you see like Kevin Beckel like posted the most insane section in like I forget which video. Anyway, point is, it's just like there's this insatiable hunger for like more spots to do the same tricks, right? And I put on a skateboard video come up, and I put it on, and within 3 minutes I can tell, or like even shorter time on shorter clips, like this is just people going through the motions. Like, I can tell this is tail slide, kick flip out. I know from the foot position what's going to happen. It's no longer that interesting. So then when I sent you that skateboarding video, is because I didn't know what was going to happen next, or I liked the way that they were doing this same set of tricks. So then bringing it back to wizard skating, knowing that there is a trap that can be fallen into, which is we do, the culture demands that we do these tricks. These are the cool ones. All the cool guys do these tricks, and gals, and you got to do them on a ledge or whatever. When you take spots out of the equation, that's why people leave wizard skating, because there's no paradigm really in action sports that's saying it matters how you do the trick, or like, here's the next space we can go into. You have to look to other disciplines, I think. And I haven't really done much of that. I still feel like I'm assembling tricks together, and sometimes I get a glimpse of, like, I do something accidentally and it's an NBD, and it's like, well, I didn't really mean to, and no one's ever going to do that again either. But then sometimes there's breakthroughs that happen, and you do invent a new trick, and it just kind of, it satisfies a little bit. You're like, oh, that was an NBD. Cool, I'm on the right path. I don't know if that's the path anymore. The path is like characters, superhero, wearing the whole, how are we presenting the same type of skating that we're doing? Like, you mentioned flat ground skating being like very challenging to find the same, I don't know if novelty is the right word, but the same satisfaction of
No,
exploration,
ideas.
but ideas.
Ideas.
Yeah,
Pretty much. Sometimes it's ideas, because if you, I don't know, maybe the analogy with music can work in this moment. Like, if you think we have 7 notes most of the time,
seven tricks.
but
Yeah,
but the way different bands or people put those together made made humanity dream for so long, since the beginning of time, and dance for so long.
yeah.
So I would say I agree with you. Is more the way we express our skating, and I don't necessarily see the need of everyone being able to do every trick technically in order to contribute or shine, because not every skateboarder is Rodney Mullen,
Right.
and skateboarding started on flat ground
Hmm.
as well. And and then it developed in different kind of um, paths that have a common origin, and would be vert ramp, would be street skating, would be downhill, would be. And for me it's more in the range or in the field of one's personal expression to pick street skating or flat skating or whatever will come up to next, because we don't know yet.
Hmm.
And can be also phases of one's personal skating. For example, like I used to do a lot of flat ground. Now it's 1 year ish that I'm skating mainly street spots. But if I have a flat ground idea, I go skate flat for sure.
Yeah.
It really depends what's the next idea that I'll channel, and if I'm able to manifest it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about the music or art analogy of what is a spot in music, like for because I think music is a good example because, like you said, there's only seven notes, there's chords, whatever, there's time signatures, there's variables you play with, but um, a spot could be some. I mean, like I think it's important to change our environment, and I think that's what spots do as well. Like they put you in like a different place, but yeah, I don't know.
There is a beautiful movie by, I believe, Lars von Trier, which is called, if I remember correctly, The Five Obstructions. And it's a friend of him, which is a director that lose the inspiration of doing movies,
Hmm.
and asked to Lars von Trier to help him, and he gives to him five exercises to do,
Hmm.
to redo scenes of his past film with some obstructions. So, just to answer your question, though, I would say a sweet spot is somehow a task, an obstruction, some limits, some that in my case has more to do with timing than danger. I don't support danger in skating as a direction, and not anymore, at least.
Yeah.
And and so what the body of the architecture does to me is to give the necessity of a certain kind of intention that has to do with time and space. I give you an example. If I want to do a press, which is the least interesting move that I can come up with for myself, and I do it on a flat ground, and there are no lines in my parking lot. It's just black,
Hmm.
you know. Then my press can start in any moment, last whatever, and then I just go down
Okay.
when I can't balance anymore, and that is something. But if I have, it's enough the circle at the center of a basketball court, and I then have the intention. I don't have to jump or to do different things, no. But then I have the intention to just do the press crossing it.
Hmm.
This is an abstraction, and this is that gives me something to be in relation with through time and space, and so my intention has to be different. So
Hmm.
in music I would say that Mozart or Beethoven, like the classical music, had different abstractions than the Ramones. You
Sure.
know, it really depends what I, I would boil it down to personal research. You know,
Hmm.
it's the what it is in that moment, a specific album from the Beatles or Dark Side of the Moon of the Pink Floyd. They had a set of invisible rules,
Yeah.
a code of conduct.
Bit of a vision as well, like a or a
Yes,
sound vision, whatever that.
whatever it was for them, I
Yeah.
have no idea. But I would say they were
Mhm.
circling around an object of the research in that time, you know, and most probably they were not sure what that was. So, but there was a certain pull or a certain calling, and try to figure out how to listen to the inner calling.
Yeah.
That body of work end up to be the dark side of the moon.
Yeah.
And the abstraction that the Ramones said were different, or the Beatles said different, or Mozart had different. So on on flat, pure flat ground with no lines, just a dark matter of flat,
The
a
universe. Yeah.
field. I would say it's can still depend of my personal obstructions or obsessions about timing. For example, I do I don't know I don't know the name of the tricks. Um, I do a 360 opposite swivel or parallel. I don't know. I spin 360 on the weirdest
Same
edge
edge.
I
Yeah.
could.
Like a far.
Okay. And then what I wanted to do, yeah, like far. And then what I wanted to do was to ill pop 180 out of it. But I really wanted to have that 360 be a continuous movement of my core spinning for 360, not 180 and 180,
Yeah.
just at 360. And at the very end, or right a little bit before, I would try to recall the feet under myself in order to use the friction
Hmm.
to be able to gain the bounce for the heel pop. And if that would not happen in that specific moment, I wouldn't count it as landed.
Yeah.
That's personal obstructions.
Yeah. So there was I think I think it might be time for, like on eccentric inline, I have documented the mechanical sort of movements, let's say. I think there might be space for blog posts or things that describe like different abstractions, different variables to play with. Like the Beatles took drugs and learned the sitar, right? And we have Revolver, right? Like, and then there's examples of different inputs or different like internal rule sets that come out. Like, oh, it needs to tell a story. It needs to be the exact same length as the Wizard of Oz, for example, Dark Side.
Yeah.
This comment came up: far side of the moon, there's no dark side. Um, and
What the comment says?
oh, it says far side of the moon, there's no dark side.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't see the other side. But I think maybe what we can end with, because I have to run to the restroom, but is that if you find yourself in a place where you've kind of reached the end of the yellow brick road and it's been nicely lit and a nice path, and you've seen all the things along the side, all the attractions, all the different tricks you can do, and you get to kind of like the end of the known path, instead of like just bailing and going on to some other path, like going into the unknown is not completely, like, you're not on your own in that sense. Like there's different knobs you can turn and like expose more path in front of you, basically. Like if you change the timing knob or the elevation knob, right now all of a sudden you're in a different pursuit, a different sort of like research direction. And maybe it's worth having a list of what are those knobs or those abstractions, right? Like,
Yeah.
some
I
people,
see
yeah.
technique as a side effect of those abstraction more than the main goal, which means that if I practice with a certain ideas or limits or whatever it is that which is my taste or my calling, whatever you want to call it,
Mhm.
in order to solve that task, as a side effect, I would gain some skills. And in that sense, those new skills would make the next idea arrive, because for the skills that I have now, I would need to get deeper into the same personal obstacle or personal obsession or find a new one in order to keep it interesting for myself.
Mhm.
And to that, I would say there is no end.
Yeah. Ideally, our wells can run dry sometimes, like creatively. And I
Yeah,
think that's just a question of, well, I guess I'll flip it. I think most people's process is probably to observe others doing the same thing they're doing and look for inspiration in that. And maybe it's valid to do that, I would say, because other people are doing their own research and you can learn from it, like peer reviewed
absolutely.
articles, all this whole idea. But if that's the only way that you do it, I think you're going to run out, because you're not going to be able to necessarily detect what they were researching when they did that clip. You just see the results of it. You don't see the process. So, any of you saw the process, you're not privy
And
to
maybe you don't see
it.
the nuances of
Yeah.
it.
So then you have to kind of have a set of, like, a bank of variables, abstractions that can reinvigorate your excitement with skating. And I remember one of the books I read, that with the creative formula, that was mostly the process that I follow. It's like improv, notice, and then articulate. So it's sort of like play, find something, and then explore it. I don't always have something in mind. I'm usually improvising first. So I think where our processes differ, but then they converge in like the research and articulation phase of like, how did this work? What was special about this? What can I make? How can I make it special? But in that articulation phase, when you're trying to explore the germ of an idea or that little seed, there's a bunch of variables that she listed out in the book that are like timing, you know, where you're looking, like all these sort of things. There's more for dancers and stuff, because if you're doing choreography, you want it to be unique every time. You're going to have your same patterns. People are going to call your choreography, repetitive or whatever. You need to kind of shake it up. So what are those things you can tweak? And I think it's worth people having a set of variables that they can like go to if they want inspiration.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
in
yeah.
this sense, as it works for dancers, I would say workshops would be something very healthy, because I get to experience other people process,
Yeah.
and this makes me think out of my personal box, and maybe something resonate. Maybe it's one exercise, is because a lot has to do with intention and visualization. And so if you use a different analogy or visual reference for achieving the same kind of quality of movement, that might resonate with me more, or give me another tool, or from that I can, the way I give the meaning to the same word, it will be different a little bit, and I discover something,
Mhm.
and which is not better or worse, but it's
Yeah.
something that is there for the whole class, or for the teacher, or for everyone on the internet. In this sense, I would say that will be super interesting.
Yeah, I think workshops are cool because it's more than just a demonstration. You get an explanation and you can ask questions and try on the technique or the approach. Right? It's not always like a technique. That's a
Yeah,
very
it's more a task. I would call it a task.
yeah.
I come up with a task to try to express how I got to find whatever I found that I want to
Hmm.
mm, share with you. And so I have to imagine a task, an exercise, or um, a visual reference or something, and then see how that translates into your body.
Hmm. It has
You
to be
know,
somewhat tangible, right? You can't just describe your process and okay, like try to
no,
also think like
and
me.
see
Yeah,
what it does on a different body with different habits. It's so there's not one thing which is the same of the other.
yeah, yeah. So yeah. Anyway, I think that's like a cool approach to. It's hard. I have a microphone, so I can. I mean, do a lot of things, but one of the nice things I can like be talking while I'm skating and narrating like what I'm trying, what I'm modifying, like what's my thought process in the moment. Obviously, it's hard to like think, speak, and skate at the same time. But I think I'm going to do more videos like that for the subscriber world. I think that's
Yeah,
like a cool. Uh,
doesn't have to be at the same time though. It can be like you do something, you
like
watch the clip,
yeah.
and then you try to make conscious from your subconscious
Mhm.
what it is, the change of intention that you're gonna do in the next try. You declare it like in
Yeah,
a
you
game
can
of skate,
speak it. Yeah.
and you
Right.
see what comes out with that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've done that a few times, and it's the yeah, you know how we skate like in and out of the frame of view. Uh, Oftentimes I would find myself like doing the trick and then talking while I'm skating back to the front, and I'm out of view, so like it's not really good video. So I learned from that like stay in the frame the whole time, so that if you're talking and having ideas and thoughts, like it's not just dead air, visually there's still a person.
You
uh,
can repeat in slow mo the last attempt,
Sure, but
or
that's
the
like,
highlights of the next to
it's a
make
lot
it
of work.
some anticipation.
I've been doing them live. I'll do a live Instagram for subscribers with a microphone, like like the pure, like we talked about, synchronous communication. That's like the most, like that's basically a workshop, right? Like, granted, the person is not able to participate, but they can watch the whole thing, I guess. So, as opposed to editing it, it's an interesting delivery method to just be talking about your process while you're doing your process and showing it all live. It's like there's a lot going on, right? You know you're being watched. You're trying to sound cool and not say like all the time. Anyway, so, but I do think this is the next. I mean, it's not totally new for you and for others who've like gone to Berlin and had the workshops and stuff, but I do think that we can move beyond trick tip videos and go to like this other level of depth, I guess.
I do believe also conversation like this are a tool, and meeting like Berlin and be able to skate with people. I don't know. There's some magic dust that pass through in relation. You know.
Yeah,
Also,
I felt it at Blading Cup when I was with Dan and we cruised around the city, like just seeing a spot and everyone's just kind of figuring out what they want to do with it. It's interesting how quickly it's just different spots. Well, this is a whole discussion of like how you think of the trick for a spot. I feel like that's a big discussion. And sometimes it's like, you know exactly what you want to do on that spot. Like, oh, I've been looking for a spot just like that because I have this trick in mind. But then other times, fuck, man.
yeah, it depends. It depends. If I'm on tour, then or I go to film with the pop guys and I have to do clips that day, I have to come up with an idea. Sometimes the spot is kind of calling to something,
Yeah.
and accordingly to my skills and my habits and whatever it is, sometimes me and the spot we are just not talking, and I just don't skate there.
Yeah.
And but when I am alone, it's the other way around. I do have an idea, and I find a, a home for that idea to to live in, to inhabit.
And it does live there, right? You leave the tracks on the ground, and which is a visual thing, but I think
Yeah,
there's some residual energy that exists there.
absolutely. And I used to put a sticker, a skate movement research
Ah,
sticker, like a tag, if I'm happy with
cool.
a clip, like,
The stamp of approval. I like
yeah,
it. Or the stomp of approval, let's
the
say.
stop. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know.
You know, I need to get more toe jam stickers and stick them like in the, the toe jam spots.
Yeah,
So that people know you can do toe jams here,
yeah. Or Billy was here.
Yeah, well, that's just tags, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I like that idea of I forget the name of it. The magic that we ascribe to inanimate objects. My wife she knows the word for it, but
Shintoism, I guess.
what? Okay.
Shintoism. I don't know, like the spirit of stuff.
Yeah, kind of like I feel like my cats can see it. Like if there's
Yeah.
a blanket that we bought from a store and a blanket that she made, cat on the blanket that she made, because they can
Yeah.
like there's still that residual
Yeah.
impression of like a human intention and all this stuff, and I think they can maybe sense it and maybe feel it. I might be giving them too much credit, but I know that cats
No,
can.
I would say we do as well with
Yeah.
handmade furnitures, you
Yeah.
know, or food that has been cooked by someone instead of being on a vending machine.
Yeah, yeah, or in a factory of some kind. Yeah. So anyway, that I guess we all got to bring that human touch to our skating. It's inherent. It's there. We're not
It's what it's what we
robots.
are.
Yeah.
Yes,
But yeah,
at
like
least for at
how
least
can
for
we do
now.
that more? Like to leave the biggest impression. Almost want to do a video where you like do the move and then exit the frame and like there's like still like a tracers from like if you're on a drug or something like that where you see like the light goes by and it like lingers in your vision, like seeing almost like that movement is always going to be in that place, like always doing that movement. um anyway, so fun
Yeah.
stuff. Let's skate in the fifth dimension. And
Yes, exactly.
all right, I'm gonna go. Thanks for hanging out and
Thank
chatting.
you.
I miss our chats. We'll chat more. But
Yeah,
yeah,
talk to you soon.
okay.
It's been nice.
Yeah, cheers. Have a good day.
Ciao, Billy. Ciao,
Bye.
ciao.